Hi everyone, my name is Steve and welcome to Joomla 3 Day. This is the fourth in a series of presentations that we're having all about Joomla 3. For this presentation, I'm delighted to welcome Rod Martin. Rod is from the OS training team, and if you've ever watched any of our videos, his is normally the smiling face that you'll see on screen. Welcome, Rod. Glad to have you here and looking forward to seeing your Joomla 3 site building demo.
Well, thanks, Steve, and welcome everyone. I'm sure you're wide awake at this point in the morning. I'm going to go through some slides just to give you the overview of our site building process, and then we're actually going to build a site in about 30 minutes. The Joomla workflow that we teach here at OS Training is installation, content, extensions, and templates. I'm going to rearrange that just a little bit as I install some extensions right away, but we'll get that workflow going. The installation options in general, you have one-click options at your web host. You can always install Joomla manually wherever you want, in the cloud, of course, and then on the desktop. Today I'm using a MAMP server here in my office, and so it will be fairly quick since we're not needing to go across the internet. Our first workflow that we're going to manage this morning is the cache workflow. Categorize, add, and show. Joomla is a content management system, so we always start with content. And with Joomla, we categorize our content in order to make it easier to show it later on. Joomla comes with an uncategorized category out of the box. We're going to add a bunch, then add some content, and then show it through menus. We'll install JCE today as well because the formatting out of the box for Joomla isn't always the easiest with the built-in editor. JCE looks a little bit like this, and I'll be actually changing that up very quickly as well. And then we'll be adding some extensions. Some of the extensions we'll be looking at today are all free. Of course, JCE will install No Numbers Advanced Module Manager, All Videos Player from Joomla Works, as well as Simple Image Gallery from Joomla Works, JEvents, and then a couple of OS training, or 3 OS training extensions: OS Content, OS Timer, and OS YouTube. And so let's get started by talking about first what is an extension. We have 5 different kinds: components, modules, templates, plugins, and languages. This is my favorite illustration for an extension. The component is like the engine, it does the heavy work in your car. Modules like the dashboard. Plugins are like the spark plugs, and of course templates are the paint job. And so that's where we're headed today. So I have a Joomla site ready to go here. So installing Joomla 3 is actually really simple. The site name today is going to be My Little Town. My Little Town is a great little town. You would, of course, want better descriptive text than that. I'm going to put in my email. Now, I'm on a local machine, so I'm using admin and admin as the username and password. You would obviously never do this. The hardest part about installing Joomla is getting the database configuration correct. Once you enter your configuration options, and again, just a title, your username and password, I'm using a pretty simple one today, then you add your database configuration, localhost, username, password, and again, mine are very simple because I'm on a completely secure system here. The database name for today is Joomla 3 Day, and the table prefix was generated for me. When I click Next, it's asking me for some sample data. I'm not going to install any, so we'll keep this pretty simple. And that's all there is to install Joomla 3. It's unbelievably fast and easy. Best installation yet for Joomla. We always remove the installation folder, and then I'm going to click on Administrator and log in with the credentials that I supplied. And so here's our Joomla 3 plain vanilla screen. Joomla is up to date, as you can see in the bottom left. I just downloaded it this morning. All right, the first thing we're going to do is install a few extensions. Now, again, normally we would start with the cache workflow, but of course I want to get JCE installed and just a few other things to get me set up for later. New in the Joomla 3 version is this install from a web tab. I love this. So I'm going to click on that button. And now I can install software right from within my Joomla extension manager. I'm going to choose JCE first off, and then I'm going to click install and install. And this runs out to the internet, actually to joomlacontenteditor.net, grabs the appropriate installation package and installs it for me. Now the rest of them today I'm going to do manually simply because I want to keep this going and I don't have the fastest internet connection out here. So that's really awesome. There is a here called all videos that actually fails, and you'll see this every once in a while. So I've actually downloaded that. I'm going to upload and install a couple more here. I'm going to get OS Timer, which is from OS Training. OS Timer is one of the Joomla extensions we have here at OS Training. It's free. We're going to install OS Content, OS Timer, and OS YouTube, and you can get those for free at ostraining.com/resources. I'm going to click Browse again, and I'm going to install OS Content. This is a fantastic component. A couple more. I'm going to get all videos. And just so you see, all videos comes from joomlaworks.net. It's one of my two favorite extensions, or three favorite extensions from JoomlaWorks. All videos, simple image gallery, and of course, the makers of K2. And I'm just going to install simple image gallery as well. One more from the web. We'll use JEvents if we have time to install our calendaring program. Now I know I'm going very quickly today, and if you've never built a Joomla site before, don't worry. This, as Steve mentioned, this is being recorded, and you'll be able to watch this over and over again. All right, I've successfully installed JEvents, and so again, there's good illustration of installing from the web and uploading a package file that you've previously downloaded before. All right, a couple of things. System global configuration. I'm going to change my default editor to JCE. This is pretty much one of the very first things I always do when I'm working on a new site. JCE is a fantastic editor. We have a number of tutorials with it in our blog. We also have a JCE course in our videos. I'm going to just head over quickly to the control panel and just change just a couple of things here. I'm going to use the default CSS, and I'm going to use the mobile version of the editor just because it's different and you can see it that way. All right. And I think I didn't save that, so always remember to save and close. All right, so we have JCE set up as our default editor. And instead of going to Content, Article, and Category Manager, I'm actually going to use OS Mass Content to create my categories and my content. And this is a great way to get stuff in really, really quickly. So we already have the uncategorized category. I'm going to have an About category, an Attractions category, a Transportation category, a Blog category, and then under my blog, I'm actually going to have three categories, but I'm going to enter them in here as master categories or main level categories, and then we'll fix them in a bit. So news, ribbon cuttings, and let's have the mayor's blog. So I'm going to click Save. And if I come over to my category manager, you'll see that I have news, ribbon cuttings, and mayor's blog as my main categories. Well, I'm going to check each one of those to select them, click on Batch, and then I'm going to move them into the blog category. So select the category for move, click process, and now news, ribbon cuttings, and Mayor's blog are subcategories of the blog category. Honestly, that's the fastest way to set up categories that I know. So that's the first step in our workflow, categorization. I'm going to come back over to OS Master Content and create some content. Now, I've actually got some real content here already, so I'm not going to actually spend all the morning creating everything I need for a real site because we just don't have time. But I'm going to create the About article, and the location article of our little town. And you'll see that as I'm using OS content, I can paste in the intro text and the full text. The thing I can't do with OS content is create the images that I need. Well, we'll do that later as we go. Again, I'm going to put all of these just into the same category, and I'm going to categorize them later. So here's the airport article. The bus station article. And finally, the train station article. Now, if your content providers give you all this content, it's great. If they don't, I use lorem ipsum text. I'm going to steal some lorem ipsum text here, and I'm going to create a couple of news items. And my first news item, the mayor's new initiative. I'm going to paste some intro text and full text in there. Mayor speaks out about the CMS. And finally, how about our little bank opens? And we'll have that in the ribbon cutting. So I can create up to 10 articles at a time. And unfortunately, I can't actually put them in different categories, but that's all right. I'm just going to leave them in the uncategorized category. They're going to be published by default. I'll leave that because this is still just a fake site. I could copy the title to the alias, but Joomla will do that for me. And I can set up the author from here for all of these articles. When I click Save, and now go to my article manager, I have these fantastic articles. I'm going to choose about our little town, our location, and our history. Batch them into the About category. The airport, bus station, and train station, I will batch those into transportation. And our little bank, I'll put that into the ribbon cutting. And then the mayor's articles, I'll batch those into the mayor's blog. Now we'll put them in news. Why not? Now we need one more article. Welcome to our little town, and I'll feature that. And you may have noticed that something went wrong here with our JCE, so we'll have to take a peek at that in a minute. I'm going to put the read more, insert the read more there. And something seems to not be working. We'll worry about that in a minute. Let me go back over to JCE. And flip that profile back on. Welcome to live training. in a quick webinar, sometimes things don't quite work the way you hoped. Something's definitely wrong with my JCE installation, so I'm not going to worry about that for now. On the featured, I'm going to click yes to featured, and I'll leave it in uncategorized because we don't need a menu item to it. Click save and close. All right, if we take a quick peek at our little town, here's the default template that comes with Joomla 3. Welcome to our little town. All the details are there and my text. And we've got some work to do with our little town. That's the cache workflow. Can't recommend it enough that you start with categories, add, and show. We've done that. We've done the categorization. We've added the articles. Let's show a few things. So I'm going to go to Menus, Main Menu, and add a new menu item. The first one I'm going to do is just a quick little category blog, and we'll call this Transportation, and choose the Transportation menu. Sorry, the Transportation category. I'm going to change the blog layout to 0 leading articles, 10 intro, 1 column, and 0 links, simply because I like that. The nice thing with Joomla is, of course, you can override this anytime. Click Save and Close. Let's add another menu. And this time, let's add a menu to the blog. Select that again, Articles, Category Blog, and the category will be Blog. And in the blog layout, I'm going to make sure it uses all the subcategories, but I'll leave the other as default. Click Save and Close. So now when I hit refresh on my home page, I now have Home, Transportation, and Blog. If I click on Blog, here are all of the news articles or the articles from the blog category and their subcategories. All right. Quickly, I don't like all of these details. So if I come back over to Content and Article Manager, I can click on Options, and on the article options here, pardon me, I'm going to hide the category, obviously not have a link to the category. I'm going to hide the author, hide the dates. I'll leave the navigation on, show the read more. By the way, we never show hits and things like that anymore, so let's get rid of hits and all those icons, and we'll show the tags when we have them. Click Save and Close. And that's going to clean this layout up considerably. And there we are. One of the new features in Joomla is tagging. In the Components Tags menu, we have all the tags that we could add to our Joomla articles. I'm going to add just a couple of tags here. And we'll call this one Events, Save and New, People, Save and New, Development, and we'll just add one more for the mayor, Politics. Save and Close. Now you can add the tags like this, or you can add them on the fly. I always recommend adding them this way because people make a lot of typos when they do them on the fly. Quickly go back over to my article manager, and I'm just going to add some tags to my mayor's new initiative. Choosing Politics and Development. And our little bank opens, and we'll choose Development there as well, and Events. So you can see how tagging can really help your content become more organized. When I click refresh, my tags are there. If I click on one of those, it takes me to a listing of all of the articles that are tagged with those words. All right, so that's the cache workflow. Let's move on and add just a couple of other things to our site. The default template, of course, is not the greatest. One of the things we need to remember about templates is that templates do not change your content in Joomla, and that's a fantastic thing. Templates are there to give you layout, look, and feel. Our template workflow at OS Training is research, download, upload, change your module positions, and then modify as necessary. Again, there are no content changes when we apply a new template. We just have to maybe take a quick peek at the placement of our modules to fix things up. I'm going to use the Breeze template from OS Training, and that's at ostraining/resources, and you can click on Joomla templates. If you remember, you can get the Breeze template. Extensions, Extension Manager, and I'm going to click Browse and get the Breeze 3 template. It's a beautiful and easy to use template from OS Training. So, Extensions and Template Manager. One quick thing, most people know this. I'm going to enable the preview of the module positions so that when you're in your website, you can do $TP = 1 to view the module positions that you have available to you. I'm going to make OS Training Breeze default, and I'm going to hit refresh on that. And you'll see that Breeze has some really nice positions as well. There's a banner, left, body, top, and right, and bottom A, bottom B, bottom C, with the menu here in the menu position. Let's move a couple of modules around. You'll notice that when we added these modules earlier, these extensions, they add a bunch of modules and leave them turned off. The main menu is currently in position 7. Now this is a bit of a trick with this particular theme. So I'm going to change the main menu and scroll up here and find the menu position in Breeze. In Breeze, there is an alternative layout for the menu, so we need to change the main menu alternative layout and get rid of this module class suffix. One little trick that I sometimes forget with this particular theme or template. And so now we have our menu system in the top. Welcome to our little town, and we know we've got some module positions here that we could make things pretty with. One last step before we go anywhere else with the actual cache workflow, and that's the Media Manager. We don't have time to do this, but generally speaking, what we always recommend is that you create folders here that mimic your category structure. For now, I'm just going to upload a bunch of images, and we'll see, and we'll throw some in as we go. So I'm going to grab the aquarium, museum, and zoo, and airport, bus station, and transportation. All right. So again, I should have created those folders. You probably ought to think that through. I'm going to go back into my article manager, and I'm going to go to the train station, and I'm going to add a featured image. There's my train station image. And I'll put it in both the intro text and full text. The bus station. And finally, the airport as well, just so we can see how these work. now when I click on transportation, I automatically have a much nicer layout for my transportation blog, airport, bus station, and train station with the images floated to the left. If I go into the airport, again, that image is floated left, and I've got navigation here on the right. So when you're building your Joomla site, start with categories, add articles, show them through the menu, and of course then you can make them pretty and edit them to your heart's content. All right, we have about I guess we have about 3 or 4 minutes to go. Let's just add a couple of modules and a couple of plugins. I'm going to head over to Module Manager. And whenever I have modules and Module Manager, the first thing I install is Advanced Module Manager by no number. So I want to at least grab that one. And I'll install that. This is going to be the free version, of course. Everything we're using today is free. There are pro versions for many of these modules, and they are fantastic for many of these extensions. Really almost always recommend getting the pro version of anything when I use it. You'll see now Advanced Module Manager is giving me a little bit of a different layout, but let's take a look at, say, the OS Timer module. OS Timer allows us to set up a countdown to an event. The reason I love this particular Advanced Module Manager, though, is it's going to give us so much more. So we'll give it a site launch, and we'll say that the day is the 20th of August in 2014. We'll keep this really simple. We'll publish it, and we'll put it in the OS Training Breeze right side. Now, on the Assignments tab, Advanced Module Manager gives us way more than the average Joomla or the built-in Joomla. We could set this up by operating system, by browser, by tags, even by page types, categories, and articles. We can set it up by menu items as well. So I'm just going to exclude the home page. And that's the most simple one. But again, Advanced Module Manager gives you really great flexibility here. So if I click Save and Close, OS Timer module is set up. And if I go over to my site and hit refresh, there's the OS Timer module. The site launch is 5 days, 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 24 seconds away. Of course, I could change this title. So that's a quick example of a module. Let's do one plugin, and I think we'll be just about out of time. I'm going to turn on the Simple Image Gallery by Joomla Works, and I'm going to turn on All Videos by Joomla Works as well. And once again, there's just a ton of these kinds of modules available for us. How do we use them? Well, Simple Image Gallery works like this. I come into my article, and I'm going to create a new article called Town Pictures. All right, I think that should work. Yay, there we go. And so here's Simple Image Gallery. Gives us a quick little image gallery and slideshow. Really sweet, really easy to use. All right, I think I'm just about out of time. There's some other great plugins like the All Videos plugin that does videos on your site. We have an OS YouTube plugin that does videos on your site as well from YouTube, both completely responsive if you're using a responsive design. JEvents that gives us a calendar option. You saw all of those modules. All we'd have to do there, click Configuration, save, add a couple of events, and we have an events calendar.
Hey, Rod.
Steve? Yeah, Steve?
Yeah, you do have a little bit, another 10 minutes or so if you need to finish up the site.
All right, well, let's do that then. Let's go ahead and grab again, back to our plugin manager. We're going to use All Videos here, and I'm just going to run out to YouTube. And let's just grab this incredibly popular YouTube video, and I'm going to let it play. You'll notice that the URL is YouTube/watch?v equals. All you need is what comes after the v equals. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go back into my content, add a new article, and I'm just going to call this video sample. And here again, all I need to do is curly bracket YouTube. I'm sorry this is so small. So curly bracket YouTube, close the curly bracket, the ID of the video, and then curly bracket /YouTube, curly bracket. And I'm going to click, I'm going to put that in the news category. Click Save and Close. Now, one thing I do just need to check in the plugin manager here is the formatting for this. Because this is a responsive design, I want to make sure I use the responsive template for all videos player. Save and close. And if I go to the blog, there's my video sample. If I shrink this down, you'll see that the video responds very, very nicely in my article and in my template. So that's another example of a great plugin. This one from joomlaworks.gr. Last thing, let's just set up that events calendar real quickly. Click on J Events. The first thing we have to do is make sure we just save our configuration. I'm not going to change anything here. We really don't have time, but I don't need to. I can manage categories, add events, and then show them with a menu. So we'll use the uncategorized category at this point. I'm going to add just a couple of new events. J Events is really, really helpful. We'll call this Town Picnic. Categories is the default. Join us for the Town Picnic. The location is Town Hall. Extra info there. If I click on calendar at the top, I'm just going to make it for Saturday at 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. No repeat. Click Save and Close. And I can add multiple events there if I want. So I'm going to put the event calendar here. Into the right module position. It's automatically on all pages, so let's once again just include, just for fun, we'll just include the blog menu at this point. And once again, we could put it up for date and time, user group levels, all kinds of things. Really encourage you to check this one out. So it's on the blog pages. It's in the right module position. And I'm just going to change the title and click Save and Close. So if I'm on my home page, of course, no module. If I go to the blog page, there's our new event upcoming calendar page. If I click on the 16th, it takes me to my event calendar. Now, of course, I've not configured this at all. It's all very much just the default settings. But very quickly, I can have a calendar on my site. So we've looked at OS content, which really is a fantastic time saver, all videos, OS timer, no number advanced module manager, J events, and simple image gallery, all free extensions that can help you build your Joomla site. So one last thing, the workflow that we've talked about, number one, cache workflow, categorize, add, and show. You can add your template pretty much any time during the site building process. You don't need your template till much later if you don't get it, and this is the great thing about a content management system like Joomla. You can have the site pretty much built until even before your graphic designers have the template finished. So you're not waiting for them in order to get your site built. Once your site template is done, you install it, change up any of the module positions like we did with the main menu, and you're good to go. Then we add modules to finish up our site and use the plugins that we downloaded in order to give us some great functionality. What we're not going to cover today is, of course, users. That's a much bigger topic. So, Steve, I think we're just about done with our site. It's not totally finished, but our little town has a web presence.
Well, thank you, Rod. Um, so you went through a new template and quite a few extensions. Um, do we have any questions from the audience as to what Rod has done? We do have uh, one question on videos. Do you prefer all videos, or do you prefer using JCE and the Media Manager plugin?
Oh, great question. The Media Manager plugin is a paid extension. So for this course or for this tutorial, we just use free ones. And to be honest, I usually actually prefer all videos, simply because it allows me to call external hosted videos from somewhere else through exactly the same code that we just saw. So if it's a Vimeo video, it's curly bracket Vimeo. It's responsive, and it's free, and I've never had an issue with that particular extension. If you're hosting your own videos, the JCE Media Manager is a great option. Again, not free. Comes as the bundle. I think it's $25 for all of their extensions, by the way, which I've purchased and highly recommend. But I'm an all video.
Okay, a broader question. What are the extensions that you install on every site?
That's a great question. I actually have a slide share on that. It's slideshare.net/I'mRodMartin. And there's a presentation there called 45 Extensions in 45 Minutes that I've done at several Joomla days and the Joomla World Conference last year. So it's there at slideshare.net/I'mRodMartin. But the ones that I would highlight, again, just real quickly, pretty much several of the no-number extensions, Advanced Module Manager, modals, tabs, things like that. I'm a huge fan of Peter's work. Again, I always recommend the pro versions of these things. JCE, obviously, that's kind of the number one thing. And then from there, it really just kind of depends on the site. For forms, I particularly like RS Forms Pro, the new version. We just released a course on Sobi Pro that Vicky did, and for directories and things like that, that seems to be a really great option. Boy, yeah, take a look at that slide share, and that will help you out there.
Rod, can you bring up the link to that slide share? We've got a couple of people asking for it. So the name of the presentation, you gave it at the Joomla World Conference, right? Was
yes.
60 extensions?
45 in 45, 45. All up through the Joomla extensions directory.
Well, there's your next challenge, 60 and 60.
60 and 60, yeah. If I just grab that real quick, this is, again, I will say this is not a, sorry for the personal slides there at the beginning, this is not a scientifically, researched list. It's what I use and what Twitter told me about. Admin tools, of course, Akiba Backup, I put on every site. I've used a Community Builder a lot. And anyway, you can take a look at these if you want. It's again slideshare.net/I'mRodMartin, and the actual full URL is slideshare.rodmartin/ wow, it's a really long URL. I probably need to fix that, but it's there on the screen for you.
Cool. Do we have any more questions for Rod? Okay. Well, thank you very much indeed, Rod. It was great to see the process you go through to build even a simple site like that.
Yeah, thank you. I wish we could have finished that up just a little bit, but that's the way it is in a quick seminar.